The moment everything felt right before it didn't, walking out feeling victorious, safe, and finally settled. I walked out feeling lighter, like a weight had been lifted from my chest. Papers signed, steps taken. For the first time in a long while, I felt steady. I felt proud. It felt like I had finally done something right for my life. That quiet relief people talk about when they think the hard part is over. No noise, no fear, just calm. I told myself, this is it. This is what stability feels like. And for a moment, I let myself enjoy it. Because when you've been carrying stress for too long, even a small sense of safety feels like a win. It felt earned. It felt deserved. And it felt real. When you believe the hard part is over, that's the moment people relax. That's the moment shoulders drop and guards come down. When you believe the struggle is behind you, you stop watching your steps. You stop listening closely. You tell yourself, it's safe now. Nothing bad can happen here. But comfort can lie to you. Comfort can whisper that you don't need to be alert anymore. And that's how false safety works. It doesn't scare you. It soothes you. It convinces you to rest when you should still be aware. Many people don't get hurt during chaos. They get hurt after peace arrives and they stop paying attention. Have you ever felt like life finally clicked into place? Have you ever had that feeling? That moment where you thought, finally things make sense. Finally, I can breathe. Finally, I don't have to worry so much. We've all been there. A new job, a signed paper, a promise that sounds solid. And in that moment, you trust fully. You stop questioning. You stop asking. Because why would you? Everything looks fine. Everything feels right. And that's what makes the next moment so painful. Not the shock itself, but the contrast. The drop from calm into confusion. The dangerous blind spot that comes with trust. Trust creates comfort. And comfort can create blindness. When you trust too easily, you stop noticing small signs. You don't listen between words. You don't question tone or timing. You assume everyone is on the same page because you are. That's the blind spot. Not bad intent. Just relaxed awareness. And when awareness fades, truth finds space to surface. Not loudly, quietly, inside conversations, in casual words, in moments you weren't meant to hear. One conversation that shattered the illusion. It wasn't an argument. It wasn't a fight. It was a simple conversation. Calm voices, normal words. And yet, everything inside me shifted. Because suddenly, I realized the plan I believed in wasn't shared. Decisions had been discussed without me. Paths had been chosen without my voice. In one moment, comfort cracked. Reality stepped in, and I understood something painful but important. Feeling safe doesn't mean you are safe. And hearing the truth often happens when you least expect it. Trust makes. You relax, and that's when truth slips out, when you stop guarding yourself. People stop guarding their word. When you feel safe, you soften. Your voice lowers. Your body relaxes. You stop checking every detail. And when you do that, something else happens. People around you relax too. They speak freely. They assume you won't push back. Comfort creates loose moments. And in those moments, words slip out that were held back before. Not because someone plans to hurt you, but because they think you won't notice. This is how truth shows itself. Not during tension, during ease. When you stop guarding yourself, others stop guarding their words. Masks don't fall. During arguments, they fall. During comfort, arguments make people careful. Calm moments make people honest. When someone is angry, they choose words. When someone is relaxed, they speak without thinking. That's why truth often shows up in quiet spaces. Over tea, on phone calls, inside talks. Comfort removes filters. And that's why calm moments deserve just as much attention as loud ones. What people say when they think nothing is at risk tells you more than what they say when emotions are high. Let me tell you something. Betrayal rarely announces itself. Let me tell you something. Hurt rarely comes with a warning sign. It doesn't knock. It doesn't shout. It walks in quietly and takes a seat. Most people expect harm to arrive loudly, but it usually arrives softly, in small comments, in plans discussed without you, in jokes that carry truth. That's why awareness matters. Not fear, awareness, because the truth doesn't need drama to be real. Familiarity creates safety, and that's where vulnerability lives. Closeness makes you open. You share more. You expect less harm, and that's natural. But closeness also means exposure. When you believe someone is fully on your side, you stop protecting your space. You assume care will always guide their actions. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Vulnerability is not a mistake. Blindness is. The goal is not to close your heart. The goal is to keep your eyes open. The risk of trusting without paying attention. Trust is powerful, but trust without awareness can cost you. When you stop paying attention, you miss shifts. You miss tone changes. You miss quiet decisions. And those small moments add up. This is how confusion starts. Not all at once, slowly. That's why trust must walk with awareness. One without the other leaves you exposed. When family loyalty becomes a weapon, the invisible tug of war between marriage and motherhood. Some battles don't happen out loud. They happen inside people. A pull between the family they came from and the family they chose. And when that pull is not handled with care, someone gets pushed aside. Marriage asks for priority. Parenthood asks for influence. When those lines blur, tension grows. And often, one person pays the price without even knowing a battle is happening. Respect is not obedience, and confusing. Them destroys marriage's. Respect means listening. Obedience means surrendering choice. They are not the same. When someone treats obedience as respect, balance is lost. Healthy relationships allow voice. They allow disagreement. They allow growth. When respect turns into silent compliance, one partner slowly disappears. And marriages cannot survive where one voice is always quieter than the rest. If a grown man still needs permission, someone else is in control. This truth is hard to hear, but it matters. If a grown man cannot decide without checking elsewhere, someone else is leading. That doesn't mean he doesn't care. It means he hasn't stepped fully into his role. And when that happens, his partner feels it. Decisions feel distant. Support feels shaky. Love feels conditional. Control doesn't need shouting. It only needs silence from the one who should speak. Who comes first when decisions actually matter? When choices affect the future, who is considered first? That answer reveals everything. Not words, actions. If you are always informed after decisions are made, that's not partnership. That's placement. And placement hurts because it tells you where you stand without saying it out loud. When family duty is used to excuse emotional pressure, family duty can be used to push, to guilt, to pressure. It can sound caring while causing harm. When duty is used to silence one person for the comfort of another, damage follows. Love should never require someone to shrink. And when it does, something is deeply wrong. The quiet shock of realizing you were never in the plan, the moment you realize the decisions were made without you there, is a specific kind of shock that comes with exclusion. Not loud, not dramatic, just heavy. The moment you realize things were decided without your voice, that your role was assumed, not asked. It lands slowly, and then it settles deep, because partnership means shared direction. When that's missing, confusion takes its place, not consulted. not considered, not respected, not consulted, not considered, not respected. Those words repeat because the feeling repeats. Over and over, you question yourself. You replay moments. You wonder how you missed it. Repetition isn't drama. It's truth knocking until you listen. The pain of being present but not counted you were there. You showed up. You cared. And still, you weren't counted. That pain is quiet but deep. It makes you feel small in a space you helped build. And that feeling doesn't fade on its own. It grows unless it's faced. Silence speaks loudest when you expected partnership. Silence can be louder than words, especially when you expected unity. When questions go unanswered, when explanations never come, silence fills the room with meaning, and most of that meaning hurts. Looking inward without turning against yourself, this is where many people turn inward and blame themselves. Don't. Reflection is healthy. Self-attack is not. You didn't imagine the shift. You noticed it. Awareness is not weakness. It is the beginning of clarity. Control doesn't always look like control. Control isn't loud. It's often calm, polite, and quiet. Most people think control looks angry. Raised voices, harsh rules, obvious pressure. But real control often wears a soft face. It sounds calm. It sounds caring. It even sounds reasonable. It doesn't rush you. It slowly guides you. And because it doesn't shout, you don't notice it right away. You tell yourself everything is fine, that nothing is wrong. But control doesn't need noise to be real. Sometimes the quietest tone holds the strongest grip. Some cages are decorated like homes. Some spaces feel warm but limit your movement. They look safe but slowly shrink you. You don't feel trapped at first. You feel protected. That's what makes it dangerous. A cage doesn't always feel cold and harsh. Sometimes it feels familiar, comfortable, and by the time you notice the bars, you've already adjusted your steps to avoid them. Comfort should never cost you freedom. The difference between abuse you see and control you feel. Obvious harm leaves marks. Quiet control leaves confusion. One shocks you. The other drains you. When harm is loud, people react. When control is silent, people doubt themselves. They feel uneasy but can't explain why. That's because control you feel works on the inside. It doesn't break you all at once. It slowly bends your choices until you stop choosing an all dot when decisions are made for you without raising a voice. No shouting, no anger, just decisions already made. Plans already set. You're informed, not asked. And over time, you stop offering your input, not because you don't care, but because you've learned it doesn't matter. Losing your voice doesn't happen in one moment. It happens in small steps. And each step feels harmless until you look back and realize how far you've moved away from yourself. If you don't control your life, someone else will volunteer. Life always moves forward. And if you don't guide it, someone else will step in. Not always with bad aims. Sometimes with comfort, sometimes with habit. But the result is the same. You end up living a life shaped by someone else's choices. Taking control doesn't mean fighting. It means choosing. And choosing starts with seeing clearly. The moment you stop making excuses for red flags, the stories we tell ourselves to avoid conflict. People don't ignore signs because they're weak. They ignore them because they want peace. They tell themselves stories to keep things calm. It's not that serious. They didn't mean it. It will change. These stories feel gentle, but they delay truth. And the longer truth waits, the louder it arrives later. How many signs did you explain away just to keep peace? Think about it. How many moments did you brush aside just to avoid tension? How many times did you choose silence over honesty? Peace that requires self-denial never lasts. It only postpones pain. And postponed pain always returns stronger. Responsibility without self-attack changes everything. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means owning your awareness. You did what you knew then. Now you know more. Growth starts the moment you stop turning awareness into punishment. Learning is not failure. It's progress. Awareness is power, not weakness. Seeing clearly doesn't make you fragile. It makes you steady. People who notice patterns early protect themselves better. Awareness doesn't harden you. It sharpens you. And sharp vision helps you move with purpose instead of fear. Open eyes hurt, but closed eyes destroy. Truth can sting, but ignoring it costs more. Closed eyes keep you stuck. Open eyes help you move. Pain passes. Damage lasts. Choosing to see is always the better path. Why feeling betrayed is a signal, not a weakness. Emotional pain is data, not drama. Pain carries information. It points to what's wrong. Treating pain like noise keeps you lost. Listening to it helps you understand where the line was crossed. Pain isn't your enemy. It's a message. Pain is the alarm system of the soul. An alarm doesn't mean danger has already destroyed everything. It means something needs attention. Ignoring it doesn't make you strong. It makes you exposed. Pain shows you where care is needed. You're not overreacting. You're noticing. Noticing shifts doesn't mean you're imagining things. It means you're paying attention. People often doubt themselves because others dismiss their feelings. But inner signals exist for a reason. Learning to trust the warnings inside you. Trust grows when you listen to yourself. Each time you honor what you feel, you rebuild confidence. You don't need permission to notice discomfort. You need courage to respect it. Your feelings are not the problem. Ignoring them, as feelings don't ruin lives. Ignoring them does. Listening early saves you from deeper pain later. What you feel matters. What you do with it matters more. Boundaries, the line that changes everything. Boundaries are not walls. They're instructions. Boundaries are not meant to block. They are not meant to punish or push people away. They are instructions for how you expect to be treated. They tell people what is acceptable and what is not. They create clarity in relationships. When you set boundaries, you remove confusion. You no longer have to guess if someone respects you. Boundaries are a guide, not a wall. They protect space, not relationships. They give direction without harshness. When you understand that, setting limits becomes a natural act of self-care. Not confrontation. Love does not automatically mean access. Love does not give anyone a free pass to your time, your emotions, or your decisions. Caring about someone doesn't mean they get to cross your lines. Affection is not entitlement. Being close does not erase your right to comfort, privacy, or respect. You can love someone deeply and still say no. You can support someone fully and still protect your own space. Love is mutual. Boundaries are the proof that care is healthy and balanced. They separate respect from assumption, keeping relationships honest and safe. Everyone who loves you won't like your boundaries. Not everyone will like your limits. And that's normal. People who truly care will adjust. People who resist reveal their priorities. When someone complains about your boundaries, it doesn't mean you are wrong. It means their expectations are not aligned with yours. Learning this difference is freeing. Resistance is not your fault. Boundaries test relationships. They show you who can meet you with respect and who cannot. Accepting that truth strengthens your confidence and prevents unnecessary guilt. Boundaries don't push people away, they reveal them. Boundaries act as a filter. They show intentions. They highlight who values your space and who tries to take it. They expose real character, not hidden agendas. When someone respects your limits, you feel safe. When they challenge them, you learn quickly how far they will go. Boundaries clarify, not isolate. They allow you to invest in people who match your respect and let go of those who do not. They give you confidence to move forward without fear or doubt. Firm without being aggressive is a form of power. Firmness doesn't need anger. Setting limits calmly is stronger than yelling. Calm authority makes people take notice. It signals that you control yourself and, by extension, your space. You don't have to force respect. You create it. The way you carry boundaries shows strength and restraint. It prepares you to stand in self-respect without compromise. When you are firm without aggression, you command presence, not fear. And you reclaim your ability to live fully on your own terms. When you finally choose self-respect over silence, the shift from fearful quiet to clear awareness, the first step is noticing. The first step is opening your eyes. Fear makes people quiet. Fear keeps thoughts to themselves. Fear makes small sacrifices for comfort, but awareness changes everything. Suddenly, the quiet stops being protective and becomes harmful. You begin to see patterns you ignored. You feel feelings you avoided. And the small voice inside that asks for more suddenly grows louder. That is the moment clarity starts. Fear is replaced by recognition. Silence is replaced by understanding. And your first choice becomes awareness. Silence keeps the peace, but self-respect keeps your soul alive. Staying quiet avoids fights. It keeps smiles on faces, but it slowly dims your presence. Self-respect is louder than comfort. It protects your soul. It tells you that living in fear or suppression is not living at all. You can be polite without giving up your voice. You can maintain relationships without losing yourself. The cost of silence is far greater than the temporary comfort it brings. Choosing self-respect restores energy, purpose, and confidence. Your soul deserves that honesty. To those living in quiet suffering, this is your wake-up call. If you've been shrinking, doubting, and holding back, hear this. You are not weak. You are aware. You are still here. That is strength. Your suffering does not define you. Your choice to act does. This is the moment to recognize your value, to reclaim your space, to take the first small step towards standing fully. You owe yourself that chance, not for anyone else, for your own life. Wake up, notice, begin. Courage is a decision, not a personality trait. Courage isn't something you are born with. It's something you choose. Every time you speak up, every time you refuse to bend to unfairness, you practice courage. You don't wait to feel brave. You act despite fear. Bravery is built in moments, not inherited. And the more you choose it, the stronger it grows. Understanding this removes excuses. It empowers every decision you make. Strength becomes a habit, not a gift. The cost of staying silent is always higher. Silence protects temporarily. It avoids conflict for now, but each moment you hold back, the consequences grow. Decisions are made without you. Plans move forward without your input. Opportunities pass. Pain accumulates quietly. Speaking up is not risk, it's investment. Choosing self-respect may be uncomfortable at first, but the price of staying silent is far heavier. Your voice matters. Your life matters. And acting is the only way to ensure both are honored. Power returns the moment you decide to see clearly. The decision that changes everything is internal power. Doesn't come from others. It comes from within. The moment you decide to see clearly, to notice patterns, to recognize what serves you and what doesn't, you reclaim your own life. No one can grant clarity for you. No one can choose awareness on your behalf. It begins inside, in quiet observation, in decisive thought, and in honesty with yourself. Once you make that choice, control shifts back to you. Internal clarity becomes external strength. Victimhood feels safer. Responsibility sets you free. It's easier to blame circumstances. It's easier to feel trapped by what others do, but responsibility brings freedom. Choosing to own your actions, decisions, and reactions releases you from silent chains. Victimhood keeps you waiting. Responsibility lets you move. It doesn't remove challenges. It doesn't erase hurt, but it ensures you are not carried by them. The choice is yours. Stay passive or step fully into control. You decide what continues. You decide what ends. Every thought, every habit, every interaction, you have influence. You decide what stays in your life. You decide what ends. Repeating this reminds you that power is in your hands, not in anger, not in confrontation, not in wishing, but in choosing clearly. Each choice reinforces control, and each choice shifts your path. Stop letting patterns run unattended. Decide. Choose. Stop letting inertia guide your life. Emotional. Independence is real power. Dependence on others for approval, clarity, or decision-making drains strength. Emotional independence restores it. It means trusting yourself, making choices without fear of judgment, moving forward without needing permission. When your emotions are yours, your life is yours. Real power isn't loud. It's steady. It's calm. It's self-led. And it allows you to act with clarity, not reaction. Strength isn't loud. It's calm, clear, and uncheckable. True strength doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. It observes. It acts. It stands firm in clarity and purpose. Calm authority outlasts impulsive reactions. Clear thought outperforms chaos. And uncheckable presence moves you forward when confusion surrounds others. Strength is quiet, deliberate, and steady. When you see clearly, when you act from understanding, that is power returning. That is life in control. What this moment is really teaching you, every painful moment carries a lesson. Pain is not a punishment. It's information. Every difficult moment carries a lesson if you are willing to see it. Every hurtful experience has insight hidden within. It doesn't make the moment easier, but it makes it meaningful. What you feel right now is not wasted. It is shaping understanding. It is teaching you what to watch for next time, what to protect, and what to release. Life communicates in discomfort, and when you pay attention, every painful moment becomes a teacher rather than a burden. Lessons hurt less when you stop resisting. The harder you fight a lesson, the deeper it cuts. When you resist, pain lingers. When you accept, it transforms. Acceptance doesn't mean agreeing with what happened. It means acknowledging reality so you can respond wisely. Stop wrestling with what cannot change. Start noticing what it shows you. When you do, the sting fades and clarity grows. Lessons hurt less when you stop pushing against them and start learning from them. The shift is subtle but powerful, moving you from reaction to insight. Growth doesn't require bitterness. Wisdom and resentment rarely walk together. You can learn, adapt, and grow without holding grudges or replaying anger. Growth is not revenge. Growth is understanding. It's observing, adjusting, and moving forward with more awareness. Bitterness is heavy. Wisdom is light. Choosing the latter keeps your mind and heart clear. You gain perspective, not pain. You become stronger, not hardened. And your growth continues naturally, without resentment slowing your steps or clouding your vision. You're wiser because you saw it. Seeing clearly makes you stronger. Awareness is not weakness, it is power. The moment you notice patterns, recognize manipulation, or detect unspoken truths, you gain insight. You can make better choices. You can protect yourself. You can act with confidence instead of reacting blindly. Being observant doesn't make you cynical. It makes you prepared. You are wiser because you saw it, because you felt it, because you paid attention when many would have looked away. This experience was a chapter, not the whole story. This moment is one chapter in a much larger story. It does not define your life. It does not set your limits. It is temporary, informative, and necessary. You can close this chapter and carry lessons forward without carrying pain. Your story continues beyond this point. Your choices, strength, and actions will write what comes next. Perspective transforms hardship into preparation. Understanding that this is a chapter, not the whole book, lets you move forward with clarity, purpose, and hope. Closing. You were never weak. You were waking up. This was not failure. It was awareness. Nothing you felt or experienced means you were weak. Every moment of struggle, every moment of doubt was an opportunity to become aware. Awareness is not failure. It is the first step toward freedom. Realizing truth, facing discomfort, and recognizing patterns are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you are learning, paying attention, and willing to grow. You were not defeated. You were awake enough to see what needed to be seen. That alone is strength. Reclaim your dignity, your voice, and your worth. Stand tall in what you now understand. Speak clearly in what you now know. You have the right to dignity, to your voice, and to self-respect. No one can take that from you unless you allow it. Every step you take forward is a reclaiming of your life. You do not need permission to honor yourself. Your worth is not conditional. By choosing awareness, by acting decisively, you restore what was always yours: confidence, clarity, and control over your own life. Stand up. Pay attention. Choose yourself. Stand up. Pay attention. Choose yourself. Say these words until they resonate in your bones. Each word is a command to yourself, not to anyone else. Stand up for your presence. Pay attention to what matters. Choose yourself over doubt, fear, or manipulation. Each choice is a declaration of independence, of awareness, of power. The path forward is yours to claim. Step onto it fully. No hesitation. No compromise. You are the priority now. Forward is the only direction that matters now. The past is instructive, but it does not control you. What lies behind informs your decisions, but it cannot hold you back. Forward is the only direction that matters. Every choice, every action, every moment from this point shapes what comes next. Move deliberately. Move confidently. Move without looking back to fear what could have been. Your life belongs to you, and your focus must be on creating the next chapter, not reliving previous setbacks. You saw it. You felt it. Now act on it. You saw it. You felt it. Now act on it. Repetition is not rhetoric. It is reinforcement. Experience is not enough without action. Insight is not enough without movement. Every realization requires a response. Every lesson demands a choice. You have the clarity, the awareness, and the courage. Use them. Step forward with confidence. Make the decisions that honor your truth. Stand fully in your life because now you are awake, aware, and ready.